Welcome to Build Your Dream Business, brought to you by Solo. More than just a booking app, we're a community for independent pros in hair, beauty and wellness. I'm Katrina, here to bring you closer to real stories of success from the industry's finest and share practical advice to help your business flourish. In today's episode, we talk to Romy Olivia Tillyer, an award-winning brow and lash specialist. She shares her journey, including creative marketing strategies for attracting clients, the importance of seeing things from the client's perspective to guide her content creation, and the value of building strong client relationships. Welcome to the podcast, Romy. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. So happy to have you on the pod with us. Why don't you kick off and tell us all about how you got into the world of beauty?
So originally I really wanted to go into like computers and photography and everything like technical. I wanted to like create games. And then my mom came into my room one day and was like, you paint your nails, you dye your hair, you wear a lot of makeup. There's like new makeup in your room, tan in your room every week. So we went and visited a local college and did like one of their open days. And I was like, this looks really nice. It looks really fun. It looks something that I would enjoy. So I did my first year in college, really loved it. It's a really nice eye-opener into like the next step. And then in the second year, I did a bit of work experience at a local salon and got into seeing if I wanted to do different electronical routes or if I wanted to go into more of the pampering side or if I wanted like kind of just finding what route I wanted to go down. And she did everything like laser hair removal. She also did like the hair removal with the needle. And I just knew before I invested, I didn't want to invest in something I wasn't interested in or took my heart. So I decided, okay, that's not for me. Now I can move on to my next year and decide fully what I want to do because there's so many options. Throughout my second year, I then joined a local salon and got in with the kind of treatments I enjoy. And then that's where I kind of found my passion with brows and lashes and was like, oh, actually, I like this.
It's super interesting. I feel like so many people we talk to do actually come to beauty later in life. So it's really interesting speaking to someone who, went to college, did the college course and kind of persevered from there on.
Yeah.
So you finished your second year and you were working part-time at a salon then. Did you then go on to work in a different salon?
So I stuck in that salon for 3 years and I did all the treatments. I personally would recommend that to anybody is to try it all. Because you don't know what you might like, what you might not like. I was really invested at that point in nails and it was really popular to have like the acrylic nails, things like that. So I was like, oh my God, nails. And it was all I did. And I do like the odd brow and the odd waxing. And then slowly I kind of tasted a bit more of the brows and was like, ooh, okay. And then I knew body waxing wasn't for me. I'm not quick enough. I also would have to pluck out every hair I missed. So it took me like 3 hours to do like a leg wax and it was not financially or the client's worth of time.
Yeah.
They'd get a great result, but they'd be here for hours. So then after about 3 years, I then decided, you know what, I'm going to go self-employed. And my dad always wanted me to be, never wanted to push me. He wanted me to come to him and be like, right, I'm ready. What do I have to do?
Incredible. So that was a huge step to take after only working in a salon for 3 years. How did you come to that decision?
You kind of get to a point where you go, I'm ready to move to the next step and be uncomfortable to get comfortable. My dad is self-employed and he always says like the first bit's never easy. So like you have to be prepared to be uncomfortable in a situation to get comfortable. So I came to him one day and said, look, I live at home. I have no commitments. Like now is the perfect time for me to try it. Because then if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. I can always go back into a salon. There's so many like career options out there. So we built me this really small little room in the back of the garage. It was tiny, like diddy. So the first 6 months I was in there and within 6 months I was like, Dad, I need a bigger room. And he was like, oh God, I'm losing half of my garage to you. So within 6 months we extended this small room into like, I had like a reception area with a nail desk, a little built-in spray tan bit with like these, it was awesome. I had like these big lights so I could get like the clearest spray tan. So I did that for about a year. And then within a year, I grew out of love with nails and everything else, and just was like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to say I'm just doing brows and lashes. And I'm so scared because like nails were my bread and butter. I despise doing them in the end, and I don't ever want anyone to ever get to that point, because I think it's really sad when you fall out of love with something. There's so many training courses now that if I still did them, I think I'd fall back in love with them. It was 2019 and I was like, I'm just going to do brows and lashes, and I'm just going to try it. And it was the best year of my life.
Oh, and it must be really scary, basically saying no to clients, saying, no, I don't do that treatment, even though you can do it technically, but you just decide to take your business in a different direction. That's super brave.
It's kind of one of those moments where you're like, am I doing the right thing? Is this really going to work for me? Is there really a like part in the industry for a specialist? Is this a thing? Now you wouldn't even think twice about it. Like the industry's come a way of going, you can do what you want and be who you want to be. And that's okay. With back then it was very like, you were a beautician and you did it all. So I think I was like, oh my God, I'm going to step out my comfort zone and step out of like the industry norms. And actually now it is the industry norm.
Yeah, so true. You definitely see a lot more specialists, you know, like you very much are a specialist in lashes and brows. And I think there's quite a lot of demand for that, you know, over perhaps even general beauticians.
I also really like that people are specializing and are putting all their knowledge into one area. I think it's awesome. Like there's so much more passion in their work and so much more passion in them as a person being like, I love this and I want to give you everything for it.
Completely agree. Circling back to the beginning of your self-employment journey, I guess, how did you find your first clients? How did you sort of tell the world that you are now going self-employed and you're looking for people to come to the space in the back of your dad's garage?
So I was terrified, but my dad and I sat down and he's been quite a good guide for me. We broke down what I'd earn in a month at the old salon. And he said, as long as you can break that down and like earn, I think it was like £200 a week. He said, you're making more than what you would have done at the salon. I make myself goals still now. I go, right, I need to earn X amount to be able to do X, Y, and Z. So we did it where I had to make 200 to make it even, to make it worthwhile doing it. And I remember because I named my business Romy, my name's so unique that people remembered me. So as much as it was scary, it was quite quick for people to get word of mouth around being like, oh my God, she's come back. Like, where has she gone? She's come back. She's doing it on her own. I remember I did like leaflet drops around the village that I lived in. Like I was advertising on Facebook a lot. I did every kind of element I could. And I remember so many different things that I tried to be like, right, okay, I'm going to really try and like recommend a friend. And if you do this, you can do this. And I did probably too many discounts, but it got me to a really good place because I could test and see what worked, what didn't work.
Great. And what did work and what didn't work for you?
One really good one, which I will always remember, is one Halloween, I wrote down a list of trick or treats and the client would have to text me trick or treat and I'd send them one off the list and it'd be like, trick, you got rookie nails, or treat, you get £5 voucher for something.
Yeah.
And it was a really good one because it got the ball rolling of people being like, oh, I wonder what I'm going to get. The ones I found that probably didn't work is like, there's ways of wording things. So being like, oh, I've got a cancellation today. Whereas being like, oh, I've got a few remaining appointments this week if you wanted to get to know about your brows. There's ways of wording things. I've learned that over the years. Like, it's not going, cancellation today, 2:00, even though sometimes you do. But if you go about it in a way of saying like, okay, well, I've got a few remaining spaces, message me if you want to learn more. It's intriguing the customer and going, okay, I don't have to have a treatment, but I can come in and have a chat about my brows.
That's so interesting. I feel like you're really kind of approaching it as, you know, a startup. You're looking at all these experiments, you're looking at all these growth experiments and you're seeing what works and what doesn't work. And as you say at the beginning, it may have felt like, you know, you were discounting heavily and you were doing, you know, lots of things, but it kind of has now got you to a place where you're really informed about what works for you and what works for you in your area with your client base, with your types of treatment. Might not necessarily work for everyone else, but because of that experimentation, you've now worked out
what works, what doesn't.
Are you still doing in your kind of ongoing promotions of yourself?
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Like my friend, for example, she finds the cancellation on the day thing works perfectly. Sometimes I find it does if it's a weekend or an evening, because people are like, oh, I need to snap those up. But in the week, I find better for me personally, content days, discounted content days to fill up big slots. They work really, really well. Because obviously everyone would love to be a model, and it's good for you to experiment something new at the same time. So it's like a double whammy. The client gets something new, you get to try something new, they get a little bit discounted, you've made a bit more money than what you've anticipated.
Yeah.
Like I'm really aiming to do some Black Friday things this year, and I've been debating what to do that's like beneficial to both. So I do like doing the odd thing, or like I have a mirror in my room, and on the odd occasion I'll be like, product discounted to 20% on the day, just today only, just because I'm in like a really good mood.
Yeah. And I guess it keeps it interesting for you as well.
Yeah.
Those model offers, is that how you kind of try out new techniques, new trends? What do you use models for?
I love models for all different things. So you've got, as you say, the new techniques, the new products, the new tools. You might get a new brush where you're like, okay, what can I use this for? There's silly bits as well. Like the new thing for lash lifts is to put the shield on top of the serum, a bit like you do with lamination with a cling film. So it's testing, right, who would it work for best? Who wouldn't it work for best? What can the best result can I get for that? And how can I make it last longer for the client? I love doing also like little videos for the content days as well. So even if it's somebody that I've done time and time and time again, I can just spend an extra half an hour to an hour with them getting the right shots to show this is how this treatment's done. So then people aren't so clueless to it all, and they can see, oh, okay, well, this is how it's done. I thought it was done completely differently. I have a lot of clients where they go, I had no clue that's how it was.
If you want to find out whether something works, or, what kind of benefit something brings to you, you're just running those experiments.
It's a bit sciencey.
Amazing. Obviously, there's a lot to do being self-employed. How do you manage your time?
So I used to be rubbish. I used to work from 9 to 9 every day, and then every Saturday, and it sucked. I'm not going to lie. When I met my recent partner, he inspired me to cut back and actually make more of a routine. And I was terrified. I was like, I'm going to lose all my clients. I was like, I'm going to fail. I'm not going to earn as much money. And actually cutting back and putting set timings in has been really good for personal life and business life. Like I now have 3 evenings in the week to myself, which is really nice, actually, considering I was working every one. And every other Saturday. So then when we do something, we do have a Saturday that we can do something. But in the week, I tend to find I make little notes on my booking app of what I need to do that day. I'll analyze. So if it's a quiet month, I'll go, right, okay, well, admin I can do every other week. If it's a busy month, I do it every Sunday, like my accounts and stuff. And then replying to messages, I make sure that now I'm really like regimented. So now I'm really regimented with keeping it inside my working hours to reply to clients just in my working hours. Unless I've said I will reply by X, Y, and Z. I'm a lot more strict with my time and me now that I've got a partner that I've wanting to build a future with and things like that. Like I want my business to progress, but I also have a personal life, so I want to progress. Don't get me wrong, there'll be days where you're like, oh my God, I'm so tired. But at the same time, I've said to all my clients actually this week, I look forward to coming in. I look forward to doing things and doing a deep clean of your room is also really exciting because you're like, oh yeah, I can put all my new stuff out. And you just find you get into a good routine. So like every morning at 9 a.m., if I haven't had a client already, I'll reply to all my clients then. And then if I get a gap in the day, I'll go, right, I'll clean X, Y, and Z. And then I break it down a bit. And then by 4 o'clock, I'm like, right, we'll do hoovering, mopping, we'll finish any admin. And you do find yourself getting into a routine. And especially like content days, I don't really plan them in. I do them like sporadically. But it's quite nice because I'll overlook my diary for the month and then I'll do a day of planning and then a day of filming.
Again, it's that very analytical approach of yours of looking at your week and seeing, how can I maximize my time and do these bits of admin and cleaning and content days actually fit in the best. What does content day look like for you? What's kind of, I mean, your Instagram is amazing. What's the strategy behind it, and how do you get from sort of thinking, this is what I want a post to look like, this is what I want my social calendar to look like, to kind of planning and executing posts?
I kind of got to a point with my social where I was like, I want it to be me coming through in a way. So I always say I've got like a sprinkle of emo in me. I like crisp and clean, but I also like that touch of like the dark aesthetic on it. And like with the old traditional English writing and things like that. So whenever I do my social media and my content days, I try and go, right, what would I like to see if I was a customer or a client? And what would encourage me to book, or what would kind of encourage me with knowledge as well for brands? Because you might think, oh, what's HD? And then you see a video and you go, oh, okay, that makes sense. It breaks it down. And then there'll just be some fun content as well that I'll have a look. So like, for example, my hairdresser always inspires me. I'm always like, oh, that's a really good video. I love that. If I've copied something or if I've got inspo from it, I will tag that person and say, they did a great video. I love it so much. I remade it. But content days are more, I kind of think, right, what treatment am I doing? How can I kind of visualize this as a customer? How would I want to see it?
That's really interesting. You're kind of putting yourself in the customer's shoes and thinking of their thought pattern of somebody that isn't a professional. You know, what information do you need to give them?
It's really important, because it's like, if I was booking in somewhere and I had no idea what I was booking for, it'd be nice to be like, oh, okay, actually, that gives me a rough idea of what to expect.
What's your setup? Do you use a tripod? What's your lighting setup? What editing apps do you use? Because everything looks super slick.
So I've got a ring light, I've got a moon light, and they've both got camera things on. And I also have a tripod without any light. So depending on where I want the light to hit, my moonlight is always on. I'll always adjust that, because I like that it's a certain strip over the highlighted area, because it can darken out the other areas. The ring light is more if I'm wanting a kind of profile setting, or if I'm wanting one of me doing a shot of doing something from afar. And the tripod is if I want a really close up, but I don't want the light to affect when I'm filming. I absolutely love CapCut, as many do. Then also my favorite for my like aesthetic finishes is Prequel. I think it is Prequel. And also an oldie but a goldie is Mojo. That's a really good advertising app.
Have you purchased your ring lights, etc., from anywhere in particular? Like, what would you advise people to search for to get a similar kind of vibe to your setup?
So a lot of people go on Amazon, but I had actually a little bit of an issue where they broke within a week. And obviously you panic, so you buy another one. So you're like, oh my God. So I'd always say go directly to the company. So like I got mine from Newer and Lash Factor, and they're really good at like having warranty and things like that. So you're not panicking, because obviously you work with them as well, and you want them, if they break, you're not going to be like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Newer, for my ring light, on the front of it has this adjustable lighting plus coloring, and it's got a little remote as well. So say if my partner was helping me film one day, which he does a lot, he can adjust the light naturally without having to affect me doing what I'm doing. The moonlight's really cool. It's got the same thing, but it's got like little swizzle knobs at the end. So you can adjust like the color, the lighting, you can twist it around. I like my lights to have a lot of flexibility in just where I need them to be.
This podcast is brought to you by us here at Solo. If you're a self-employed beauty pro, Solo is the booking app that helps you not only manage your appointments, but also build your brand. With Solo, you can create your own personalized booking website where clients can easily view your availability, read your reviews, and even pay deposits upfront, giving them a seamless booking experience and saving you valuable time. With everything from consultation forms to marketing tools all in one place, growing your dream business has never been easier. If you haven't checked us out yet, why not start your free trial today? How do you keep clients coming back? You know, I think we've talked a lot about getting new clients and explaining treatments to people that might not quite understand what they're coming in for, what they like to come in for. How do you keep up with that really high client retention rate?
I think a lot of it is actually based on your relationship with them, mainly. It's building that bond, making them feel safe, making them feel comfortable. As many therapists will know, there's like that bond between client and therapist where you discuss all your secrets, discuss your love life. You're like, oh, I got a new job. So it's keeping them feeling like they're kind of being admired and they're being kind of listened to. I think that's really, really important. One of my favorite promos is give everybody a free birthday treatment. So they can treat themselves to something else. They might be like, oh, actually, while I'm here, I'll get some products. Or they might go, oh my God, I've always wanted a facial with X, Y, and Z. I'm going to go treat myself to that. And they'll never forget those little things that you do.
Nice. And is that something you always do for a treatment they haven't tried before?
When it's their birthday, I always say, for example, if they haven't tried something, they want to try it. It's the best time to try that when it's free. Because you tend to find 9 times out of 10, they love it. And they're like, oh my God, you kill me because I'm going to have to spend more money now.
Having this super close relationship with your clients can sometimes impact things like how you approach price increases and maybe like slightly more awkward conversations when it does go from that friendly relationship to more of a business relationship. How do you approach price increases? Have you increased your prices recently?
It is a very difficult one. And even I struggle. I tell everybody else that and my friends that are in the same position, I'm like, no, you should do it. But I still struggle myself. Personally, I always try and like give everybody a way heads up. Or I'll say, okay, well, I've just given warning that X, Y, and Z for stockist or my rent or something has gone up. So just heads up that in like 2 months' time, I will have to put a little bit of money on. I'm at a really good point where I'm really happy with my pricing at the moment. I haven't actually changed it since I think it's been like a year, maybe just over. I don't personally think I'll go much higher unless obviously things do increase naturally. But it is one of the hardest subjects. I find the best way is just to be honest and just say, look, I'm really sorry. And I also am very open with like saying to someone, if you can't afford this, it's okay. We can change it and work with you. I actually find my clients very honest with me. One recently came up to me and said, I'm really sorry, I need to cancel my appointment. My partner's just gone self-employed and I can't afford this anymore. And I said, absolutely no problem. I respect your honesty more than I do if you're trying to scrape by just for a brow appointment. At the end of the day, as much as it's my career, I'd rather someone respected me and said, look, I can't afford it. Or, for example, 2 of my friends, they're trying to save money at the moment. So we'll do a nice big treatment on her birthday, but on the other treatments, we've gone to the lower price of treatments. And it's working with your clients and saying to them, look, it's okay if you can't afford me. I won't be offended because that's the best route to go. Otherwise, they'll feel intimidated to tell you and then they'll lie and be like, oh, I'm just going on holiday. I'll text you another month.
And that's actually really nice, or, suggesting alternative treatments that might be more in their budget, especially with things like brows where there can be, quite a wide range of things that you can do. So that's a really nice approach.
It's a way of like, making them feel like they're still welcome. It doesn't matter what they pay or how often they come, because that's another route you can go. So for a few of my brow clients, we'll swap between HD and a brow accent in every other 6 to 7 weeks. So it makes it more affordable, but it's also breaking it down that bit longer.
Yeah. Again, sort of working with your clients to, suit their budget rather than just saying, if you're not spending the maximum amount, then I don't want to see you. That's nice. And, that is what keeps your clients coming back again and again because they feel comfortable saying, actually, this month I can't quite afford it, but I'd still love to see something a little more, basic.
Yeah.
What are your goals going forward?
My goals going forward are I definitely need to be a bit more strict with my routine. So I've been following a few of my favorite people, and one of them, although she doesn't do brows, she really inspires me. She said to get a really good base is to do 2 content days a week. And I was like, oh, personally, when you think about yourself and you go, oh, personally for me, I think that's going to take up a lot of client time. I always have a notepad and I write down all my goals for the year. And I have like financial goals. I have treatment goals. I am going in a totally different route next year to add on to my treatment list of tattooing.
Oh, exciting. Have you trained yet or are you?
I've trained. I've just been practicing behind the scenes a lot, but I will always do brows because a lot of my clients are like, oh my God. And I'm like, no. It's just something on the side, something a bit different. I want to be able to do the both, but brow wise, I just love keeping up with all the trends and My future goal would be to get another place and do multiple places and kind of get my name into a place where I can do, okay, well, here's one location, here's another location. I'd love to be one of those people that are in multiple locations, especially when I have quite a few clients that travel quite far. I feel quite bad. I had one come from New York not long ago, and I was like, wow, you've come all the way from New York. Like, oh my gosh. That would be a goal for me, to be able to be like, okay, well, I'm going to go do a day here. I'm going to go do a day there. I'd also love to, like, next year's goal is to redo my room, because my friends know I'm a sucker for changing things around all the time. So I'm going to redo my room. So I'm going to save up for that and give myself a complete new look. So I feel like I've grown out of this look. And I think that's quite common for businesses, to kind of zhuzh things up again. And it's just kind of investing time into seeing, okay, well, what can I add to a treatment to make it better? I think that's the only kind of goals I've got for next year, is just kind of making it more me even more.
Super exciting. I mean, tattooing is a really exciting addition. And I bet like a really cool creative outlet for you as well.
It's really cool because I have some. I had actually one done on my leg that meant something about brows to me, which is quite funny. It's my hand holding a pair of tweezers. Just because I love them so much, I'm like, well, brows has always been a big part of my life. I wanted to get that on me. Where I'm in such a private space, I like the idea of people being like, okay, well, I trust you with my brows and you tattoo my face, so why can't you tattoo other places?
We like to finish off our podcast with a quick fire round. What is a beauty product that you can't live without?
Oh, the HD brow glue. If I was a millionaire, I'd give everybody one for free.
What is a beauty trend that you're loving right now?
Do you know what? I'm really enjoying that people are being clean girl, but they're adding a bit of an edge to it. So like the nails, they're like really neutral, but then there'll be like a spider web. I'm really enjoying clean girl with a bit of an edge. That's a vibe I'm feeling. Like even with makeup, people are doing clean girl and then they're doing like a fox eye. I like that kind of like simplistic, but just a bit of a zhuzh.
I know exactly what you mean. So into it. What is a beauty trend that you're not loving so much?
I'm not the biggest fan of false lashes.
Oh, interesting. So you're kind of keeping it more to your LBL.
I am very at the mindset of high maintenance to be low maintenance every day.
Love it. What is or do you have a favorite podcast, book, or creator for business inspiration?
Oh my God, it's this bridal one. I have to find the name of it. They're hilarious. They tell all the most hilarious vendor stories. But my favorite business one, she is Lana Lashes, I'm pretty sure. And she is my biggest inspo. She's based in America and she's so awesome. I like fangirl massively over her. And she doesn't even do anything brows, but the way she is, the way she lays out her Instagram, the way she does education, like she covers the whole aspect of the industry perfectly, like chef's kiss to her.
Amazing. Super fan right here. I can feel.
What
are some business tools that you can't live without?
Definitely an iPad. Every business should invest in an iPad. Definitely solo as such, because you get the website and the booking system. So that kind of ties both in. You don't have to worry about getting like one or another done or keeping up with one because it's unlinked to the other. I would also say your hygiene products for sure, because that's another big element. You want to make sure people will kind of come in and think, okay, this is a nice clean environment and feel comfortable. I'd say Instagram. Focus on your Instagram, because that is like the thing. Instagram and TikTok, the way you can present yourself, that is the biggest tool in a business, is advertising yourself for free. It's completely free. Like getting yourself out there. That's the biggest tool, I'd say.
What is one thing that you do every day to keep your business thriving?
I ensure that I post at least 1 to 3 stories every day on my businesses, just to show that I'm still there, I'm still here, and this is what I'm doing, or this is my appointments available. My rule in my head is always like 1 post at least once a week and 3 stories, 1 to 3 stories, depending on what we're doing. A massive thing in the industry is people think they can't repost the same thing.
Okay.
So I think that's a big thing for people to get over fear, like overcome their fear of like reposting. You can repost the same video. It's okay. If I had a mental block, I always do something where I go, right, what haven't I showcased in a while? So I look at my last few and I go, okay, that one was a profile, that one was a close-up, that one was a how-to. I'll then go onto a product and then I kind of loop back round. So I kind of do a similar loop. You'll probably look on my page now and notice I have like a kind of like pattern that I follow. So I'll always look at a pattern and go, right, what haven't I posted? Is there something I'm really wanting to post if I haven't got anything yet? And I just kind of post my favorite finishes the most, I think, personally.
That's such a good shout. It's almost like, having a cheat sheet of what to post next. And thing of reposting, I mean, of course, it's so obvious now you think about it. If you've done a really great set of brows,
someone that might not have seen it might see it this time.
Yeah, that's a fantastic shout. If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Don't stress. Everything will work out. I think when you're young and you're new at least into the industry, you stress too much about, oh my God, am I going to have enough clients? I've got a quiet week. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Whereas now when I get a quiet day, I'm actually like, okay, well, I can sort my cupboards out or I can do my accounting. I think just don't stress about it. Just relax. Everything works out. There's a Maddie Cooks business page and I see so many posts where they're like, oh my God, I'm really quiet this month. What do I do? Sometimes it will just pick back up. Sometimes I find there's weeks where I get a week where there's not many bookings and then I look again and I go, oh my God, it's so fully booked, like happened overnight. I think that's the worst thing you can do for yourself is cause yourself pointless stress. Just focus on making yourself better. Think, right, what can I do more today or what can I do better today?
What is one piece of advice you would give to others trying to grow their business?
Be friends in the industry, don't be mean. Because there's a lot of good people out there. I've spoken to a lot of friendly people. I've got a friend in Essex I've never met and she does brows, lashes and nails. So be friendly to one another. Try all the products you want to try. Don't be afraid to try my trial experience. You might find something works better for you that it might did somebody else. Do all the master classes you can because the more you learn, the better your knowledge will be, the more you'll understand your treatments. And just enjoy being self-employed, enjoy being able to be creative and enjoy bringing you out of it. And also expose yourself. Say, oh, I'm Romy and I do brows and this is me and these are my favorite things. People love to learn about you as well.
Fantastic. Oh, such lovely advice, Romy. And I think real food for thought for experimenting and testing and trying again and failing and trying again. So thank you for that inspiration. Hope to speak to you soon. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favourite podcast app. If you like the episode, why not leave a review or share it with a beauty industry friend? And if you're curious about Solo, you can download it for free on the App Store or Google Play and take advantage of our free trial.